All right, so we're diving back into Underground to Canada today and
Yeah,
picking up with Chapter 5.
absolutely.
And this is where things start to feel, I don't know about you, but
Yeah.
really heavy.
Oh, for sure. We're moving into a much harsher reality for Jewsley.
Definitely,
Yeah.
we leave Massa Henson's farm behind,
And
and
it's
suddenly we're in Mississippi.
Yeah, and it's not just a change in geography, right? It's like Smucker's using the landscape
Oh, yeah.
to signal this shift into a much darker.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, just visually, going from those dense forests to just these seemingly endless fields of cotton.
exactly.
It's like she's moving from freedom
hmm
into this system that's all about control.
Yeah, it's that order imposed by the slave system.
Yeah.
Like you said, a far cry from the wilderness.
And speaking of striking imagery,
Oh yeah,
those oak trees,
the Spanish moss.
yes, draped with the Spanish moss.
Yeah.
It's it's almost like they don't belong there,
It's true. They're so beautiful and otherworldly.
right? It's like
Well,
Julie's clinging to that last bit of beauty
hmm.
before she enters this brutal new world.
I think that moment of awe is so important, though.
Oh, yeah.
It shows us that Jule hasn't lost her capacity for wonder,
Right.
even in the face of all this cruelty.
Makes you wonder if that sense of wonder is going to help her survive.
I think it might.
Yeah, it's like a flicker of hope
Yeah.
amidst all the darkness.
But then we get to Master Riley's plantation, and
Yeah.
things get,
Really dark.
yeah, pretty bleak. I mean, this place is the opposite of Massa Henson's farm.
Right. And I think Smucker does that on purpose.
Oh, for sure.
The contract, it shows the deceptive nature of slavery. It's like how this beautiful
Like
house,
grand facade.
yeah, is masking the true horror
Mm-hmm.
of what's happening.
Yeah, like that scene with the geese
Oh, gosh.
parading on that perfect lawn.
And Master Riley just
So
casually,
licking his whip.
yeah, like it's nothing.
It's chilling.
It's terrifying.
It shows his power. Like he's in control of everything and everyone on that plantation.
Oh, absolutely. And it sets the stage for Sims,
Oh, yeah.
who seems to take pleasure in being the enforcer.
Oh, Sims is
The
terrifying.
way he talks about those new slaves,
Yeah.
calling them a sorry-looking parcel,
It makes my skin crawl.
it's just so casually cruel.
And that cruelty is key to his role, right? He has to answer to the master. He's got to make sure that plantation is running smoothly.
So no matter the cost.
Yeah, whatever it takes to keep those enslaved people in line.
And then we see that contrast again
Yeah.
between the big house and the slave quarters.
It's dark.
It's like two different worlds.
And Smucker doesn't shy away from the details.
No, she doesn't.
The dilapidated huts, the malnourished children, no laughter, no play.
It's bleak.
It's a very clear picture of life as an enslaved person on that plantation.
And that scene where Jewel Willie is separated from the children,
Oh, gosh.
especially Willie Brown,
It's tough to read.
just his cries for Jewel Willie,
Yeah, and Sims just,
completely ignores him.
it's heartbreaking.
Really emphasizes the brutality of this system.
Separating families was a common tactic,
Yeah.
to control and dehumanize people.
Break their spirits.
It's awful.
And then Julie's thrown into the fields, taken to this cramped,
Yeah.
dark cabin.
With strangers.
And you just think things can't get any worse?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
there's a glimmer.
There is.
Remember Liza?
Oh, yes, the hunchbacked girl.
The scars.
Yeah. She seems so important,
She is.
even though she doesn't say much.
She shows kindness to Julie,
Yes.
introduces herself, offers a kind word
Right.
in a system designed to strip away humanity.
That's powerful.
That small connection.
It really is. It's like she's showing Julie that even in this horrific situation,
Yeah,
there's still hope you can still find.
Mm.
Human connection.
you're absolutely right.
Makes me think about the resilience of the human spirit.
I love that.
How even in the face of unimaginable suffering,
Yeah.
people find ways to
To
hold on to their humanity.
Exactly, and that's something we're going to see explored throughout the novel.
Okay, so focusing on chapter 5 for now,
Right.
what stands out to you about this setting,
Mm-hmm.
the Riley plantation?
Well, I think the contrast between the big house
Yeah.
and the slave quarters
Yeah.
really highlights the hypocrisy of the whole system.
Right. It's like Smucker is showing us how this facade of wealth and gentility
Mm-hmm.
is built on the backs of enslaved people.
It's a great observation.
It makes you think about how presentation can be used to mask a much darker reality.
Absolutely.
It's not just about a fancy house.
Right.
It's about creating this illusion of order.
And control.
And within that illusion,
Mm-hmm.
the enslaved people are forced to exist.
To find ways to survive, to resist.
Powerful stuff.
And we've only just scratched the surface of chapter 5.
I know. I can't wait to dig into some of those moments of resistance and see how Julio starts to navigate this new world.
Me too. And when we talked about resistance,
Mhm.
it's fascinating how even in these like super oppressive situations,
Yeah.
the human spirit still finds a way to push back, you know?
Absolutely.
Like, remember when Julie Fairley first gets to the plantation
Yeah.
and she sees those slaves all lined up in the fields working? And she says, they ain't singing.
You know what? I didn't even really think about that before.
It's such a small detail.
It is, but
It
it
does.
says so much.
It really does, because back on Massa Henson's farm, they were singing
Yeah,
while they worked. It was,
It was a way to cope,
yeah,
to find a little bit of joy
right.
in the midst of all that hardship.
Yeah.
And then here on the Riley plantation,
It's
cool
a
way,
different atmosphere.
yeah, you can just feel that it's more oppressive.
Yeah.
Like even those small expressions of joy are stifled.
It makes you wonder if Master Riley, like, specifically forbade singing.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, he saw it as a threat.
Yeah, like a form of rebellion.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, control was everything on that plantation.
Exactly.
And anything that could disrupt that control,
Would be dangerous.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that brings us back to Sims. I mean,
Yeah.
he really embodies that control,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
Like Master Riley's right-hand man, making sure everyone stays in line.
Right.
Like when he separates Julie from the children,
Oh gosh, don't even.
he doesn't even flinch
No.
at their cries, their pleas for mercy. He just barks orders and keeps moving.
Awful.
Yeah.
It's like he's totally heartless.
It's chilling.
Makes you compare him to Massa Henson.
Right?
Henson was cruel,
Of course.
but there were times when he seemed almost indifferent to the suffering.
Yeah.
But Sims is calculated.
Yeah, there's a real sense of
He enjoys it.
malice there.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes him so terrifying.
Yeah.
He's not just following orders.
He's taking it a step further.
He's actively participating in dehumanizing these people.
And it makes that scene with Willie Brown even more heartbreaking.
I know.
You know, that poor little boy clinging to Julie Brown.
Crying for his mammy.
Just awful.
Raging.
And Sims just tells that old woman
Is
to...
to shut that baby's mouth.
Yeah, like, it's nothing more than an annoyance.
Right.
He doesn't care.
It's so interesting that Sims specifically places Julie Brown with the field workers.
Yeah.
Who ain't got families.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, is there like a strategy there?
Oh, I bet there is.
Like to further isolate her?
Absolutely.
Strip her of any support system?
By surrounding her with people who've already been through that same trauma,
Right.
you know, that family separation.
Yeah.
He's hoping to break her spirit before she could even think about resisting.
Like crush any hope that she might have.
Mm-hmm.
But then we meet Liza.
Yeah.
Like this little flame is rekindled.
She's such a compelling character.
She is.
Like, even with her own scars,
Hmm.
physical and emotional,
Right.
she embodies resilience.
Yes.
Her quiet strength.
Her kindness.
Yes, reaching out to Jalika.
Right.
It's a reminder that even in these awful situations,
Yeah.
human connection can still exist.
And it's almost defiant.
Is it?
Like she's refusing to let the system completely break her.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's subtle, but it's powerful.
It is.
And it speaks to that larger theme that runs through the book.
Wow.
You know, like, even when things are this bad, people find ways to hold on to their humanity.
Yeah.
To resist those forces that want to dehumanize them.
We see it with the older woman, too.
Yes.
Dried up like a crinkly brown leaf.
Taking care of the children.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We see it with Julie's determination
Yeah.
to remember her mammy Sally.
Exactly.
These small acts of defiance.
They're important.
Yeah.
They give us hope
Yeah.
that things can get better.
Hope for something better.
It's a reminder that even in the face of this cruelty,
Mm-hmm.
the human spirit endures.
Powerful. And it makes you think about how resilience can be so many things.
Yeah. It's not always like these big, grand gestures.
Right.
Sometimes it's these quiet moments of connection.
Exactly.
These small acts of kindness that help us through
Yeah.
the tough times.
And that brings us back to the importance of setting. Smucker doesn't just describe the plantation. She immerses us in it.
We're there.
We feel that oppressive heat.
The dust.
Yeah.
Smell of sweat.
The crack of the whip.
It's visceral.
It really is.
You're right there with Jolie.
And that's what makes the story so powerful.
Yeah.
It's not just about Julie's journey.
It's about everyone.
It's about the human cost of slavery.
The impact it had on individuals.
On families.
Communities.
And those impacts are still being felt today.
Yeah, we can't escape the legacy of slavery.
But we can learn from it,
We can listen to these stories
of those who endured it.
and work to create a world where it doesn't happen again.
Well said.
That's one of the reasons why I think Underground to Canada is still so relevant today. It's a story that challenges us to look at our past
Yeah.
and work towards a better future,
A more just future.
more equitable.
Absolutely.
It's a powerful reminder that even in the face of such darkness, there's always hope.
Always.
But I am curious about one thing. Even with that hope, I keep thinking about those oak trees
Yeah.
with the Spanish moss. You know, you mentioned earlier that they felt out of place.
Yeah.
Why do you think Smucker put that in there?
It's a good question. I think she's using them to show a different kind of beauty,
Okay.
one that exists outside of the master's control.
Like there's a world beyond the plantation.
Exactly. A glimpse of that natural world, untamed,
Yeah.
unburdened by all that human cruelty.
And Jufrali's drawn to it.
She is. Remember, she says they're like nothing I ever seen before.
It's almost like they represent freedom, like a freedom she can't even imagine yet, but it's there.
Yeah, a freedom that Master, Riley, and Sims can't touch.
And it makes me think about all those sensory details Smucker uses.
Oh, yeah.
Like we don't just hear about the heat and the dust. We
Right.
feel it.
We smell the sweat.
We hear that whip crack.
It's visceral.
It's like we're right there with Jill.
Exactly. And that's what makes the story so powerful.
Yeah.
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 We're not just told about slavery.
Right.
We're immersed in it
We experience it
through Jeetli's eyes.
and feel that emotional and psychological impact.
Absolutely. It's one thing to read about it in a textbook,
Yeah.
but it's completely different to feel it,
Yeah, to experience it through the eyes of a child
Yeah.
who's actually living it.
That's why books like this are so important
They help us understand.
on a human level.
Yeah. To connect with those who lived through it.
And to learn from it.
Because as we've seen in this chapter,
Yeah.
that legacy of slavery, it's still here.
Those systems of oppression,
Yeah.
they haven't gone away.
They just look different now.
It's true. And that's why we can't let these stories be forgotten.
We have to keep talking about them
Keep learning.
and working towards a world where everyone is treated with dignity.
And respect.
It's a huge task,
It is.
but we can't ignore it.
Absolutely not.
And you know what? I think Julie's story gives me hope.
Me too.
She
Yeah.
may be starting in darkness,
Yeah.
but she has the strength
Resilience.
we could all learn from.
Well said.
So to everyone listening out there, as you keep reading,
Yeah.
think about those small acts of resistance.
Those moments of beauty.
The hope that peeks through even in the darkest times.
What do those moments tell us about the human spirit?
What can we learn from them as we go through life?
Good questions.
Keep those in mind and let Julie's story inspire you.
Give you hope.
Another incredible deep dive.
It was.
Until next time.